save some secrets for later.
Ooh.
Ooh. All right, but here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2 is going to be coming on up. PandaBearMe versus Jason. Jason currently leading up the series 1-0. We're hopping onto New Gettysburg in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. The green Zerg player, the Panda Bear God, looking a little bit more mortal right now. Give it up for PandaBearMe, representing Team Root OSC.
Yes. And that was a very smooth transition from you. Right from talking right into the intro, going into the intro in the bottom right position. I ran out of air. It's from the team Cray S, the yellow Terran player. He's up 1-0. Can he qualify now? Give it up for Jason.
Woo. And that really is the story, right? It's the fact that Jason is 1 game away from qualifying for day 2. It is 1 day away from being able to actually play some StarCraft, and you'll play those seeding matches. It's not nearly as stressful as, oh man, I don't want to be knocked out. Now, of course, the loser of this still has a chance to qualify. The top 3 players in this open bracket are going to end up qualifying, and we're still in the winner's bracket.
We are. We're still in the winner's bracket, and so even the loser of these games, so that last one we watched and this one, they will still be in a very advantageous position to try and qualify.
Yeah, I believe they actually just moved down to another qualifying match, or 1 game away from a qualifying match.
I don't think so. I think that there's still a ways to go.
1 game away from being a qualifying.
Oh, these, yes, these players, yes, absolutely. But we see right off the bat, Reaper expand from Jason, and PandaBearMe going to be going once again for that hatch gas pool. I like that he chose to put his pool on the left side of his base. That's going to make it a little bit less exposed from drops. Pretty simple thing to think about, but still a nice decision.
Yeah, tuck away those very, very valuable spawning pools. Never want to be in a position, especially when you're PandaBearMe and you sit on Zerglings all day. Yeah. You don't want to lose your spawning pool at any point.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
Yeah. But I would honestly be surprised if we saw anything drastically different from either of these players. PandaBearMe, I think one of his strongest points is the fact that his late game mechanics are so strong. If he can get to that late game, he looks really, really good. And Jason also, I would say, is good at putting on that early game aggression and that mid game aggression without really losing too much. So I don't want to see any major changes from either of these players.
No, I would love to see them do more of the same. This time, we already see a significant difference in the early game. Jason not losing that Reaper, picking off a Ling already, and bruising up 3 of those other ones. Interesting from PandaBearMe is, personally, I prefer to go for 6 Lings, but he cuts it a little cleaner. He cuts it a little tighter, only goes for 4. Yeah. Now on a map like this, that's not too bad, but he even did it on on Galactic Process, where it's got such a massive ramp.
I mean, he is honestly just a very greedy player when it comes to this matchup. He
is
willing to come all kinds of corners. Knocking the cream off of creep, almost gets the creep tumor too.
Yes. He played that really riskily. Oh, does lose the Reaper there. It already took too much HP damage.
Yeah. But we do have the starport going to be coming on down. Stim is on the way. This is going to be yet another 2 racks opening. Goes into the medevac with Stim timing with the 2 medevacs and 16 Marines. Again, fairly standard stuff. This map, a little bit weird though, because if you look at that south side, you have those island expansions, but those island expansions are not just there purely for being taken secretly, hoping that your opponent doesn't scout them out. They are also actually a air blocker, and it makes it so that the medevacs filter in through one particular location.
Yep. It's it makes going air on this map a lot more complicated. Despite the fact that it's a straight shot from main to main, you still have to worry about so much more. Even now we see another difference once again. Even though we lost that Reaper a little bit later, he also has not lost the Mule. So maybe PandaBearMe is thinking, like, I need these advantages in order to stay on top.
Yeah, I mean, PandaBearMe, we've seen him throughout this the day. He's always looking for those small little advantages, trying to go for those little Zergling run-bys, cutting a couple of Zerglings over here and there to get out some extra drones, trying to delay things like the Baneley Nest. And once again, we see the double evolution chambers coming on down. PandaBearMe going to get a quick little edge on that, grabs his 3rd expansion, and Steadfast, I'm willing to bet we're going to see a big flood of Zerglings, and we're not going to see any Banelings, we're not going to see any Roaches until after this kind of double medevac pressure is done.
I think you're right about that, and to speak to your point, going straight up into the layer before Baneley Nest does get the Baneley Nest now, but not going to come into effect until after the first shock of this attack. I like this, though, from Jason. Sees the Overlords going out, and he says, you know what, that's fine. I'm just going to kill these. These are mine now.
You know, it is a bit of a hit and miss because you get the free damage done, and that's always going to be a really good thing. And even PandaBearMe is still a little bit supply block, waiting for 2 more Overlords, but at the same time, PandaBearMe also bought himself a lot more time to let that Baneling nest get closer to finishing. He got out more Zerglings. His Queens are building up energy, so even just having the push-in delayed a little bit, this is very much a timing push. You rely on hitting a fine timing.
Yes, and he did kill 1 Creep Tumor, but that's not... you want to do more with this. Is going to pick off a few Lings, damages one of those Queens, but here comes the Transfuse. That Widow Mine, though, does make it a lot scarier. It means that the mass Lings are... you got to be a lot more careful with them. Oh, nicely done from PandaBearMe.
Beautifully handled, has the bait with the Zerglings, keeps most of his Zerglings alive. And Jason is forced back a little bit, but he isn't forced back into the 4th expansion.
Yeah, so. That's an awfully ambitious 4th. He is going to hold it for now, but I feel like Jason with some good micro should be able to take that down. Just kind of stutter step.
It's going to be an opportunity for later at least, but Banelings are on the way. Centrifugal Hooks also coming on out, so PandaBearMe has to defend a little bit longer, needs to make sure his Zerglings are in position, not in position. This expansion is almost guaranteed to get canceled, and there's the last second cancel.
Oh, I thought he target fired down the drone
a little bit
instantaneously.
Too soon. Where are the Banelings? The Banelings were made, but they're a little bit late to the party, and these are slow Banelings. Speed is not finished up, and these Marines are going to continue to kite around.
He gets the kill.
No cancel. He's even going to be able to focus fire down some of these Banelings.
Nicely done. Does get 2 of those Banelings, but just gets a little too close, and he has to pick up. Still nicely done from Jason. Once again, he has been so relentless with those medevac drops.
I think Jason is really just showing PandaBearMe you can't play super greedy against him. You can't cut the corners because he's going to come at you with a walloping like hammer.
Yes, a walloping hammer.
Like hammer.
A walloping like hammer. Exactly. He does not relent. He is unrelenting. Once again, though, he's forgetting his +2 armor. This has been actually a habitual problem throughout this tournament. Is going to be double dropping right now. Actually, if he could go after those Evo chambers, that would actually be really nice. Could get down one of them.
Is that the melee or Carapace? It's the melee, so not the worst upgrade to lose for PandaBearMe, but obviously never ideal when you lose those melee upgrades.
Yeah, that's actually really rough. Rebuilding it right away, but still, you never want to lose that. And I love that Jason's just continuing to be present on the map with that medevac. But meanwhile, the creep spread has gotten really out of hand in the middle. Jason's going to need to clean that up very shortly.
Yeah, PandaBearMe making a couple more Banelings, and his +2 Carapace is still on the way, and I would say that's definitely the most important upgrade in terms of preparing for the big Ultralist transition that he seems to like to do very, very quickly in this matchup. Now, Jason is making his big push across the map on the top side and the bottom side. He still has those medevacs alive, and he might be putting on the 2-prong aggression, and PandaBearMe needs to make sure he's prepared on both fronts.
Yeah, he really does. And I would like to see him clear up more creep on the north side of the map. There's a pretty big push out. Also, there's another set of reinforcements that could get cut off. No, there are medevacs with it, so it should be okay.
Yeah, but the medevacs are eventually going to start to get shut down as the Mutalisks come out.
Oh, there's Burrow on those Banelings too, right there. Ooh. Almost walked over a big patch. And looks like we're finally seeing Mutiling Bane. Oh, thank you. I love watching Mutiling Bane.
Yeah, there are some big believers in the Mutiling Bane style, but here we go. Queens are going to get taken out very quickly.
Last
Beautiful
second transfuse.
Oh, Widowmines actually get a lot of the Banelings over there. At the same time, we have Jason pushing in on the bottom side as he makes the retreat on the north side. He knows that the Mutals aren't there, so he may have an opportunity to move into the main base.
Kind of a questionable drop right there.
Oh, yeah.
And he's actually going to lose these medevacs, I think. So the boost must be on cooldown. Those are high-energy medevacs, too. And PandaBearMe starting to take control of this game a little bit.
Yeah, PandaBearMe.
Just barely picks up.
Doesn't quite get the connections over there, but he cleans almost everything up. And the advantages that I think Jason was starting to have with just army positioning and pulling PandaBearMe out of control, he ended up just giving away too many units. So even his follow-up, it's not going to be as scary because PandaBearMe still has units alive to deal with it. And in the meanwhile, he's getting up his infestation pit. Steadfast, he's preparing for the Ultralist transition again.
He is, and he's also got a nice counterattack set up to go into the third. Maybe while this attack, while this attack is going to go in.
There
we go. Oh, but there's a bunker there at the third.
Yeah,
Gonna try and cancel that command center, though. I think he should be able to cancel it. Nicely done. Meanwhile, trying to bait out those Widowmines. Baits out all 3. Oh, that's actually a huge deal. And I think Jason should get out of dodge right now. And a good decision from Jason. He's gonna pull back.
Yeah, got to be so careful about this. He cannot afford to lose his army right now as PandaBearMe is getting to that point with Hive Tech starting up. He's still pumping out more Zerglings. He's still got those Mutals alive to hunt down Dynamic Drops.
Nice job. Forces out a scan right there.
Yeah. I love seeing the Burrow play. It's just really one of those underutilized tactics, even to this day.
It's so rewarded when you use it effectively. But we do see +2 Carapace going to be out on these Mutas to deal with the Liberators. Big attack coming in. Only 1 mine gets burrowed. Oh, does not get the shot. Those Banelings just connected on the mine. But looks almost trying to wrap around on these units.
Yeah.
Look, nice magic boxing with the Mutas. But Jason has a lot of units still on the south side. And he's going to hold right there.
Yeah, Bailey is getting some okay connections, but I mean, when you're that far off of creep, it is hard to get continuously good connections.
Don't fight again, PandaBearMe. Those Mutas are so low.
Liberators splashing down the Mutals. They start popping really quickly.
Just one more shot. Oh, but it does stay alive, the Mutas.
Oh, Mutals are going to regenerate a lot of that health. A lot of the Banelings on the low ground starting to get taken out, but Jason is run out of steam right now. He's relying on reinforcements, and I just don't know if he has enough.
PandaBearMe might have actually broken him here just barely. It's the rally from PandaBearMe is going to be so scary right now, even getting a ton of lings into the main base.
Yeah, getting on top of that production is actually one of the worst nightmares, but
big Widowmine shots.
Widowmines cleaning up some of the Zerglings, and the Mutalisks are not going to be able to take on this fight. In fact, a couple of them end up falling over here. Going to try and still go after some of the units over at the 3rd expansion, but it seems like Jason is able to stabilize eventually.
It's still going to be close. He is holding strong, but I think you're right. I think he's just going to stabilize. But we have 3-3 and Ultralisk Cavern on the way for PandaBearMe.
That is going to be a really big problem. I mean, the Liberators, sure, we have 2 Liberators out. Those are nice for helping to deal with the Mutalisks. There is absolutely no other answer coming out from Jason. I think he's lost all of his Widowmines, doesn't have any Siege Tanks, doesn't have any Liberators besides just those 2 out. And Liberators need to be in slightly higher numbers than that to actually take on Ultralisks.
Yes, they do. And I like the decision to go into Corruptors as well. Ooh, going to pick off a few Marines right there.
Yeah.
Oh, what is that SCV doing?
Wrong place, wrong time.
Wrong place for a coffee break.
Yeah, the creep spread from PandaBearMe is also extended so far out on the map, and we've been talking about how some of the Baneling connections not always the best for PandaBearMe because he's dealing with Jason who's splitting off of creep, but it's getting to the point where these engagements, if Jason ever tries to be aggressive, it's no longer going to be off of creep. Those Banelings are going to get pretty good connections. Yeah,
they are, and they've already gotten pretty good connections throughout this game. Jason, actually, I would love to see him get Drilling Claws on his Widowmines. He has been relying a little bit heavily on them, and it is good against Mutiling Bane. Nice, finally stunting the creep spread a little bit, but at what cost? Loses a full medevac right there, and a lot of units on the ground. Yeah. Oh, nicely done from PandaBearMe, baiting out these Widowmine shots.
Yeah, and PandaBearMe doesn't have to commit right now. He is just making sure that Jason feels like he's on the defensive. If he feels like he's on the defensive, he's not going to be attacking in before Chitinous Plating finishes up, or +3 melee, or +3 Carapace finish up. PandaBearMe is basically buying time by forcing Jason to feel like he can't attack into him.
Yes, and we see even, oh, hang on, trying to snipe some Banelings, gets one. We see the Overlords on the left side of the map by the base. There's no way that Jason is sneaking something out of his base right now. PandaBearMe is just in complete control. I would like to see, yeah, okay, he's got 3-3 almost done. This may be his time to attack.
Oh, Supply Depot not raised in time. The Zerglings make their way into the natural expansion as well as potentially the main base, getting on top of the production, and this is going to be a huge problem because now Jason has to split up his units. He has to leave enough back at home to clean up, but he also needs to make sure he doesn't just leave his 3rd and 4th expansions completely barren because there's still a counterattack force there.
And we see he's going after the Ghost Academy, after reactors. That's a lot of annoying stuff to have to rebuild.
PandaBearMe, surprisingly enough, sending all of his Zerglings into the natural, which he knew the army was. I'm really surprised he didn't go after the 4th or the 3rd, but...
Oh, but he's actually baiting Jason's army out of position, and a lot of units are going to go down from Jason. Does pull back into the range of the missile turret, so going to be able to kind of SimCity his way to a hold, but He's just pulling Jason apart in so many different directions. Meanwhile, these Banelings, if they get on top of the army, which they don't, they go after the barracks.
Yeah, going after the supply depots, knocking down the wall in, maybe to help out some counterattacks later on. The Ultralisk, I mean, the big thing that's working against them is the fact that they are working in a big, big Sim City, but PandaBearMe just has too much.
That was intense, to say the least.